Hey everybody, it's Janice with Creating Through Chaos, and today we're going to use this shutter that I got at a thrift store and make the cutest fall hanger. So the first thing I did was take that shutter outside and give it a coat of spray paint. And I used a color almond. Once I had it back inside, I'm going to take my micro sander and I'm going to sand off some of the paint to give it a rustic look. So I got all the louvers and the edges just to make sure that I pulled off some of that paint. Once I had all of the paint off, I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to grab one of these slatted pumpkins from Dollar Tree and some paper from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to remove the hanger from the pumpkin. Then I'm going to trace that pumpkin out onto that scrapbook paper and then cut the scrapbook paper out. So now I'm cutting it all out. Now I'm going to Mod Podge that onto the pumpkin. I'm not going to worry about the slats while I'm doing the Mod Podge thing, although I do think it was easier when I did trace out each individual slat, but this works just as good also. So I'm going to just Mod Podge the whole piece on. So I made sure I used a generous amount of Mod Podge, making sure that you get the edges. That's the most important part, especially when you have to sand off the excess paper. You don't want it to peel up. So I'm just going to lay that down. Press it down and make sure that it's where I wanted it on the pumpkin. Pressing down those edges really well. Once the Mod Podge was fully dry, I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and just cut the slits from the back side. And then kind of go back over them on the front now that I know where the slits are because I cut through the back side. Next, I'm going to take a sander and I'm going to sand off around the edges, and I'm also going to sand in between each slat. In order to get in the slats, though, I used a nail file. They make a great sander tool when you need to get into small areas like that. So I'm going to sand around the whole edge, and then I'll take my nail file and then I'm just going to lay it sideways and kind of just run it up and down each of the slats. And this part was a little tedious, but I got it done. Now that it's all sanded, I'm going to take that pumpkin and the Hello Pumpkin cutouts, and those cutouts are from Michael's. And I'm just going to use some of my antique wax, and I'm going to stain the Hello Pumpkin. I'm just kind of dabbing it on with this thinner piece because it's very pliable and kept moving, and I didn't want to break it. So I just kind of dabbed on the antique wax, and then with the Hello it was a little bit more sturdy, so I was able to go over that a lot faster. And those little word cutouts are very flexible and they break very easily. I've broken many. So once I had those all stained with the antique wax, I'm going to stain the pumpkin as well. So I stained its stem and then around all the edges and in between the slats. Just go around the whole pumpkin, making sure that I get all of the edges. And then in between all of the slats. And I love this paper. It already has such a rustic look. And then when you add the antique wax on, it just becomes even better. And there it is, all stained. And I didn't get this part on video. I don't know why. But I glued the Hello Pumpkin on. And I just used some E6000 and some hot glue. Then I also glued a messy bow onto the pumpkin with a little rusty star in the center. Now I'm just going to take some hot glue and some E6000, add it to the back of the pumpkin, and I'm going to pop that right in the center of the shutter. Press that down and make sure it's held really well. And I can't believe I missed that turning my camera back on when I glued the Hello Fall and the bow on. I'm so disappointed in myself. But here it is, all finished, and how stinking cute is this? I love the bow. I love everything about this project. It's so rustic, has such beautiful colors for fall. I hope you enjoyed this project. I love taking thrift store finds and turning them into beautiful pieces of art. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, don't forget to spread the chaos.